What is going on, everyone? I am here with the beautiful and amazing Samantha Thornhill.
Hey.
All right, for the people who are on, let's show Samantha some love. Let's we're gonna give people some time to log on here, okay? And we're just gonna go through some introductions. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Aspirant agency that Samantha and I are both in and a part of. I'm seeing some hearts here. Hey. And so thank you everyone for being here. I'm gonna chat first. Samantha is literally my favorite reader of all time. Okay. I do not know. What's up, Daniela? There is a Facebook user here. We got some highs and hellos.
Hi, Daniela. I see it on my phone.
We got Missy. So Samantha is my favorite reader. I don't know how we found each other. It was like an Instagram miracle. We hooked up on Facebook, and literally any time that it would be like Samantha Thornhill's online doing on live, I would have to get on. Her readings are filled with love. She is a being of love. I mean, anyway, you all are gonna find out. I mean, I could hype her up for like ever. Maureen, hi. I could talk about her forever, and I don't want to take up too much time because I want you all to be able to experience her live. Okay, we're going to be doing a little bit of co-creation here. So a lot of you have seen me do readings, a lot of you have like worked with me, and we're gonna like flow here and kind of see what comes up and what happens. So welcome.
Yo, it's so wonderful to be here. I'm seeing your people coming on, showing love already. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me, Alesha, to you, and basically walking me into your community or walking them to me. I know you have some strong people in your life, and you know it's good to connect. It's good to connect and get to know each other. I have a few oracle decks here, and I've been wanting to. Oh, is that me?
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's you. I've been so interested in collaborating with you, Alesha, for like a good minute. So I've been like a lion in tall grass waiting for this moment. I have no idea what this looks like. So it's like we're just on an intuitive journey here, y'all, just moment to moment with it. And that's basically all I'm about, is just being in the moment as much as possible and trusting myself in the moment. And that's the thrust with which I provide my service. My service as an oracle and as an intuitive is to just help you to align with yourself and with the divine. And that's basically my premise. It's like not too many bells and whistles, not too many jazz hands. It's just helping you to align with your singular truth. And I think that's a healing all in itself. I've seen it for so many people when their eyes change, you know, when they realize something about themselves that they knew, but was like kind of buried underneath other things that misalign us. So it's all about alignment, y'all. So here we are.
Here we are.
Jazz hands.
No jazz. I'll do the jazz hands first.
I'm like, jazz hands are fun. Jazz bells and whistles are fun too.
All right. So, guys, if you guys don't know, if you know people that would love to see this live, who would love to get some readings, who would love to witness this co-creation, share that YouTube link. Okay. Otherwise, before we get started, I would love to talk a little bit about how to find us. You can find us here at these links on Instagram and the Aspirant Agency. You can look this up on Facebook. There's a group and a business page. Samantha, do you mind kind of like giving a little rundown on
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Aspirant Agency is essentially a growing family of intuitive healers and practitioners that have sort of coalesced around a common mission to be of service to one another and to humanity. And I stress the to one another first, because a lot of healers tend to work in silos. They're sort of like their own fish in their own pond. And I happen to be a person that connects people, just as Alesha is doing now. And I have these intuitive healers in my life, practitioners who are they have overlapping abilities, but everyone has something very distinct that they do. And I just saw that, wow, these people can really benefit from one another if they knew one another. And so I thought, let's all connect and see if this is a fit. And since then, we've been like rolling like a family. And, the idea is to present as an agency, like we are a group of people, and there's someone here for everyone. You know what I mean? Like whatever your aspiration is, or wherever you feel that you need support in your aspirant journey, which is something that I believe we're all on an aspirant journey. All of us have an aspiration towards something. It could be short term, it could be long term. I think we have several aspirations, So I feel I'm really interested in that conversation of what makes you an aspirant. And along this journey, I know along my journey, I've been helped by particular practitioners at particular times that helped me to turn a corner, that helped me to make a decision, that helped me to tune in with myself or understand something from my ancestral history, or, that made all the difference, And so I thought if we just assemble and let the world know that we're here and that we're here to be of support, that I believe that people would come to us and, actually experience more than one of us, because everyone is dope. I mean, we have Shaman Alesha here. So Shaman Alesha is she's like her own fish, big fish in her own big pond. You know what I mean? And she's a powerhouse. And so it's amazing to watch her come into a space with these other powerhouses. And it's like, oh my gosh, we're all amazing in different ways. Look at everything that Alesha brings to the table. You know what I mean? And there's stuff that Alesha does that no one else in our group does. And then there's things that Alesha does that other people do, such as mediumship. But it's like everyone brings something so particular. And I just feel so inspired by that. I feel so excited about it, to see what everyone can do and what everyone can do for each other, and how we can just continue to heal. Because I think we're still all on our healing journeys. I don't want to create this picture that we've all arrived and we're here to help humanity. It's like we're still healing, and we're very in touch with our humanness as practitioners. And I just feel like this support system, this built-in support system that is now the Aspirant Agency will just make us all more just stronger at what we do, because I think we'll all be able to benefit from healing from one another. We have, we have my husband, Amar, the Dreamlander. Doesn't he sound so mysterious? He's a dream medium. When you tell him your dream, his dream talks to him. Your dream will talk to him directly and say, this is what I'm really saying. And he can tell you, oh, the voice of your dream is saying this. It's a type of mediumship. And it brings to mind the thought that, wow, dreams have a voice. Dreams have a point of view. Dreams have an aspiration. So that's his gift. He's also an exorcist. So that's what he does. There's just no one like him on the team, just like there's no one like Alesha. And then we have Mona, who's a medical intuitive. If you have a health problem that you really don't know where it came from, what to do about it, what to ask your doctor, she can scan that part of your body and tell you some shit that sometimes no doctor can tell you. But, and then when you go to the doctor, whatever she said that was very physical in nature, would be verified by science. It's not woo-woo. And then we have Melissa Knight, who's our Akashics practitioner. We have a spiritual coach, Abigail, who's an interfaith minister. And now it just goes on and on, y'all. So yeah, definitely tap in with us. We have a group page called the Aspirant Agency of Intuitive Talents, and we have a business page. And you're always welcome to reach out to me. And I can also, put the link to our scheduling link in the chat.
Yes. Yes. I'm so honored to be a part of this agency. We got on a Clubhouse on Friday. It was absolutely amazing. So for those of you who are familiar with Clubhouse or are interested in watching an entire group of intuitives get together and serve and show up, love to see you guys there. Alrighty, so we are getting ready since we have a nice little, since we're here, okay? Who would like a reading? Go ahead, drop your link down below. I also, if anybody's interested in like hopping into the stream as well, like getting on the camera with us, we can also do that.
That's awesome.
So we have a pick me, and I don't know who this Facebook user is. So before,
that's Kylie McPherson.
Okay, cool.
And then we have Ashley Nicole Wagner.
Okay.
Kylie and then Ashley.
Awesome. So we are going to go right down the row, everyone.
Heather is next. Heather is the third. All right, so we have Ashley.
We got you guys. And we do have some links here for donations, just so you guys know, Cashapp and Venmo. So feel free to donate. And we will begin. Just getting something set up back here so that way I can see the names as well.
Okay. So would people like to come into the room, or are we just oops.
Yeah, I guess Kylie, do you want to come into this room in the back end, or do you want us just to read yeah from here? Okay. If you want to join the room, I'm going to put this link in stream. I'm going to put it into the comments. Kylie said we can just read her from here. Cool.
Okay. So
just so everyone knows, we are going to read one in order. In the room, whenever it's your turn, you would just go ahead and click on that. All right. And then we'll get you in this room camera. If you don't want to hop in the room, that's totally okay. We still got you.
Absolutely. All right. So Ashley's coming in. Is Ashley coming in? What are we doing? I'm just warming up the cards and seeing how which deck I'm connecting with at the moment.
Yeah, perfect.
Like, what are you doing?
All right, so I'm already starting to pick some stuff up, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start telling you what I'm picking up, Kylie. Okay. So immediately what I start picking up on is I feel a little bit of like jitteriness. Okay. It comes from my head and it comes down into my hands and arms. So I really feel it a lot in my arms and hands. Okay. This to me shows that your nervous system is a little taxed. All right. Um, I'm hearing that there's a lot of thoughts going on in the head. All right. There's just like a lot of concern, worries, things going on. And that sometimes it feels really hard to like settle and get grounded. All right. Um, it's funny because I know you. So like I don't want to repeat things that I already know, but still I'm hearing being mindful of being hard on yourself. Okay. There's this feeling of like why am I doing this? Like why am I like this? Like why can't I settle? Why can't I ground? I should know how to do this. I should be better at this. And I want you to know that I really think that that form of thought is starting to really begin to build up a lot more momentum with this anxiety. So the thoughts in the head is starting to cause that vibration. It's starting to cause a little bit of self anger. Okay. So what I'm saying is these thoughts are also perpetuating the problem, which I know, like I can already hear, like, I know, like, and again, that's the thing, right? Like that thing, like, I know, like, what we want to do is we want to just remember that thoughts are just happening. Okay. Like truly, thoughts are just happening. And if we can begin to detach from the thought, it's very difficult to do, but I want you to remember that like your body is also speaking to you. Your spirit is also speaking to you. Your emotions. There are so many facets of yourself that are speaking to you. And if they're speaking to you, then that means that you are the listener, that you are the observer of those thoughts. Okay. So we want to kind of tap into that. But I'm really interested in seeing what Samantha is picking up, what her cards are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, there is alignment with these cards. The first card I decided to pull from my angel deck. I just feel like the angel deck it's just such a reminder that we have these loving beings that are extensions of God's light, always around us, observing us very lovingly. And I think that's just a comforting reminder, at least for me. First angel card is ease and grace. This is the medicine for this moment. So it's kind of in alignment with what Alesha's saying. Like all three of these cards, three cards presented themselves. And this first one, ease and grace, when that comes up, usually it's indicative of someone like clutching. It's like life is a steering wheel and you're clutching it really hard. Your knuckles are really white right now. And so that ease and grace is about just like loosening your grip on the wheel, because that clutching is creating a sort of self-pressure and anxiety for everything to be just so, when actually this is a time of learning and adaptation. Like there's new worlds being opened up to you, even inside your own self. And it's like, like what do you really have control over? So there's a control factor that's happening. And this card is just really guiding you to like slow down and like reflect. It's a time to reflect on your mountain climb, because we're all on one. And we know what swamps we've walked through. We know what alligators we've sidestepped. We know what thorns have scratched us on this mountain walk. You know what I mean? On this walk from the swamp to the mountain. And it's like, there comes times when on your mountain walk, you kind of like look back and enjoy the view. And look at where you've traveled and where you are now. And sometimes we're so busy focusing on the pinnacle, where we think we should be, where we feel we should be by now. And we're not really tapped into like where we are, which is an accomplishment all by itself, like many accomplishments. So it's that sort of like slight shift in perspective helps create more of that ease and grace that, all right, I'm not going to be able to control certain factors, and there's certain events that are occurring in my life that I'm putting too much pressure and expectation on myself to make right. And that's doing you a bit of a disservice. I hope that makes sense. So it's like a guidance to like flow like water. And it's not about rushing or forcing anything. It's about letting that steering wheel pass through your hands as you turn your corners. And what I'm getting from this second card, clear, cancel, and release. This I actually really love this posture. Sometimes I do that. Like, yo, not today. It's actually like quite protective. You feel really badass when you do this. But this card really comes up for when it's like your head is a battlefield. Your head is a battlefield. And I think this is right. This is true for all of us. Like, this is the most vulnerable and powerful. I think heart's like super powerful. I think the heart is what is really like the navigation system of the body and of our lives. It's like the silent captain, if we allow it to be. The mind is the battlefield. The mind is the playground as well. And I feel like as a battlefield, this is where, we're constantly being inundated and infiltrated with thoughts, with messages, subliminal and not so subliminal, that sort of change the water inside of us, that colors the water inside of us. We're very vulnerable up here. And so clear, cancel, and release is asking you to really, look at the negative people, situations, thoughts, and events in your life, and do your best spring cleaning effort to like clear those things out, not in a spiritual bypassy way, but in a way that really honors your sovereignty and your boundaries. And and the thing with the thoughts, my husband is an exorcist, and I because of that, I've become extremely aware of a type of whispering energy, which in Islamic parlance they call wasa wasa. And this is sort of like a whispering spirit that's like kind of like whispers to you. And you might not hear it in this third dimension, but you're still taking in these messages. And these energies are very intimate with our lives and with our thoughts. And it's like whatever fissures we have in our psyche, around unhealed wounds and traumas and such, like they slip right in there. Like the negative self-talk, these are types of spiritual attacks. And that's a hard thing to swallow sometimes. But this life is full of prey and predator. Everyone is, everyone's a host, everyone's a parasite, like things need to feed. And these energies feed off of our energy, and they feed off of low vibrational energy. So it creates like a cycle where, you make a mistake, or you something comes up from your past that you regret, and then you go into this space of self-regret, and then they're fueling the flames, making it worse. And then it's like you're just in a low energy space for sometimes days. And so counteractive thought measures is another way of clearing, canceling, and releasing. Once you feel that, it's almost like, when you you're about to get a cold and you swallow and you're like, oh shit, like that one swallow, you're like, oh damn, it's like one swallow you're fine, the next swallow you're getting sick, and you know it, and you don't have any oregano oil to put on your tongue, or you don't have any echinacea, but damn it, I know I'm getting sick. It's like something happens like that with the mind. If you're really mindful of your mind, like you might be good, like even keel, and then a thought comes and you feel just a little less good, you know? And like, that's that moment that we can watch and say, not today. So those are just some offerings around that. The mind being a battlefield, clearing, really taking stock of the people and situations in your life that feel negative, that feel weighty, that feel draining, to see how you can reconfigure that, to preserve your peace. And the third card that came up, and I love this when this comes up, and it's always like kind of hard to say sometimes. It's a learning experience. This, whatever it is that you are traversing through right now, is a big examination. When I say examination, I mean it's like life is a series of training eras. I don't always like to say tests, but I think that's accurate. It's a test, it's an experiment, it's an experience, it's all of it. But I believe that we go through different training eras in our lives. And when we complete this lesson, like, we move to another, we move to another space in our lives where we need to cultivate. And I would say for me that I am going through a training era of acceptance. Like, there are things in my life that have been very hard to accept as is. And I realize that these situations are being presented to me because there's something that I have to clear in my own history, in my own psyche, in order to just be at one with what is, and that I have to do a lot of internal work to support this lesson of acceptance. Like, the kind of work that you have to do internally to accept your reality, that's like less than what you want or different from what you want. Like, that's part of it. So I don't know what your training era is, but it's something to think about. Like, like when certain things come my way, like, that is a question that I ask myself. Why is this situation being presented to me? And if we want to stay in alignment with the belief that it's all divine, even if it feels like a backhanded slap to the heart, like, where's the divinity in this? And once we can adopt that perspective and try to stick to it, then it allows sometimes our intellect to guide our emotions, because sometimes the emotions get so big that it overrules our intellect, and it's just like, why me? And we fall into like this victim space, and we forget that we're making extremely powerful choices for our life every day, and that we chose all of this anyway. So the end.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. I love that reading. What do you think? What do you think, Kylie? Drop a comment down below. I do want to play off of something that was said, which is understanding how our mind is really the keeper of a lot of things. And so how can we begin to take dominion? How can we begin to take our power back whenever we do have these little parasites that start to feed off of a moment of weakness? Okay. First things first, the biggest thing ultimately is doing some shadow work, okay? Because if we don't even have those belief systems, because clearly what they're going to do is they're going to feed off of things that are really going to get to us, like things that we might spiral out of. So by doing shadow work, what we're doing is we are going through the process of accepting the things that we don't like about ourselves. So that way they don't have anything to feed off of anymore. Like, if somebody's like, oh, well, if my insecurity is finances, okay, and that's a big insecurity of mine. Like, if I don't accept that my worth is not tied to my finances, and that I believe that money is coming to me, and that I have a good relationship with money, then they can't attack that part of me, right? They're not going to use that phrase to kind of feed off of me, because now I'm starting to spiral. Oh my gosh, like, I don't have money, and what am I going to do? And how is it going to get better? And now I'm feeding off of my fear, and now they can feed off of my fear as well. So what we want to do is we want to do some shadow work, so that way we can really dig out the roots of those deep subconscious programs that can really send us into spirals. Okay. The other thing that we want to do is we want to call our power back. There are points in time where I'm just like, enough. Enough. You're done. You're done. I'm done. Everything's cool. I'm coming back into the present moment. And I say it loud and I say it proud and I say it like I mean it, because I know that nothing really has happened to make me feel this way about myself. Okay. So don't be afraid to use your voice and to use your inner power to say, that's it. What was this? The motion? Like, you cut off. Okay. Enough. I'm taking my power back. You gotta go. All right. So yeah. And for everyone, like, really, like, they say that an idle mind is the devil's playground. Okay. And I did this on an Instagram live. I talked about this. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can find a live video where I go through a little bit of like cord cutting and calling your energy back into your space. So that might be super helpful for you. Okay. You are so welcome. All right. Next up, we have Ashley. Ashley, are you still here? If you don't mind just dropping a comment. All right, she's here. Hey, Ashley.
All right. Ashley's here. All right. A couple of cards have presented themselves for Ashley, and I'll just launch in with take a step back. The angels are guiding you to take a step back and to reflect before proceeding further. It suggests that there's a situation in your life and you have a decision to make, on how to proceed, whether you should proceed. And this is a card of no sudden moves. There's a sort of there's perhaps a sort of excitable energy surrounding you this time. I'm not seeing this card as like a negative thing, like a negative situation. It could be something that glitters for you, but you're just being asked to like reflect a bit more before you move forward. It's also suggesting that you're a very sensitive being. And so in this taking a step back, it's also a form of protecting your energy so that you can make a decision that feels really in alignment with your intentions. So this is about not rushing ahead, not forcing anything. And again, no sudden moves. Because sometimes when we do this, on this intuitive journey, we miss signals, we miss signs that the universe is trying to convey to us. So when we slow down in the midst of all this excitement and just, decide to, be more mindful and watchful, then, you never know what messages you'll receive in that moment to help navigate where you are and like how to move forward. So if this card concerns like another person or a relationship, the card is drawing you, like it's guiding you to like draw back and respect the space of others. It doesn't mean like this relationship is over. It doesn't mean like I don't care about you anymore. It just means that this person or you just might need your space for however long that makes sense to you. Yeah. So another card that came up, which I think is really actually flows nicely out of the take a step back, is expect miracles. So if you really like put those two cards together, take a step back and expect miracles, love. It feels like, that expect miracles card coming on the heels of that take a step back card suggests to me that you've put in some work, like you've put in some work on whatever it is you're working on. You've put it in, and it's sort of like that go-getter energy, that action-oriented, side of you that has like made a lot of things happen. And so the take a step back can also really talk about just being in a more space of receptivity and just like accepting that you've put your good work out into the world and that you're going to reap the benefits, and that you don't have to like do the most right now, because you've already put in some work. So expecting miracles is just like being ready to really taste the fruits of your labor, and of like the wonderful things coming your way, to like really have this expectation of the universe that it's going to deliver the way that you've delivered. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Ashley. So what comes up for me, immediately whenever I closed my eyes, an older woman came forward, like grandmother energy. She was like, she showed up like, it was funny because um, I was like, she likes to cook, and she was like, no, I like to bake. She was like she wanted me to like make sure that there was a specification of like baking. Um, she's telling me that you have like a very joyful and playful spirit, like like a good heart, that you're fun and funny, and that she really loves that about you, and that she really hopes that you can feel safe and feel more ready to bring that energy into your own life, like to really feel secure in your like what I would consider like inner child, like wild woman kind of like inner child vibe. um she also was bringing to my attention like some headaches. Like I immediately get this tension headache kind of on the temple of my head, and it wraps around the back. And I was getting a little bit of pain in my jaw. Um,
Clenching.
which to me is like clenching the mouth and not saying something that needs to be said. It's like there's just energy kind of like in this throat chakra, this throat area, and I can feel it in my chest too. It like starts here and it wants to come up and out, and then my jaw starts to ache. Okay.
Mm.
So whether including like with this grandmother energy of like you're holding back, like letting out some fun, or maybe there is something that's on the heart that like really wants to be said, but you're kind of like biting your tongue and closing your mouth, I would really suggest finding an outlet for that. Okay. Does it mean that you have to go and be like, this is how I feel? Like I almost feel like you don't want to be argumentative. Like this loving, like playful, like you like to have fun. Like you don't want to like cause confrontation. And so and then I like feel emotions coming up in me. So now what's happening is like this inner war of am I betraying myself by not speaking my truth? Like who am I hurting here? Like I don't want to hurt you, but I'm hurting myself, and I don't know really what where to go with this. Um yeah. So find a way to honor your truth, your emotions, your voice, and know that there are sacred, creative, fun ways to move that energy out of you without disturbing your environment. But as a person that believes that like chaos is a natural, like destruction is a natural part of order, knowing that sometimes we do have to speak our truth even if it does disturb the space a little bit, because when we shake things up, that's whenever we really create an opportunity to create some order in our lives. Okay, so know that your feelings and your emotions should be honored, can be honored, yeah, and that it might really help the situation, not just for you, but for what other thing might be involved in that. Okay. Um, I keep hearing like you're loved, like you're not, you're, if somebody takes it the wrong way, that's not on you, because you have You're not argumentative. All right. There's a difference between like mother effing this and calling names and just being like, listen, I need to set a boundary here, or listen, like this is not okay for me. Okay. Those are two different energies, right? So know that there is a difference between that destructive kind of like, I'm going to the one of these, and being like, hey, this ain't working for me. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. We are so honored. And yeah, please continue to give feedback, and if you feel called to donate to the lines that are here. Next up is Heather. Hey, Heather. I am so glad that you're here. All right. I've lived on a Pluto line my whole life. A Pluto line.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean? I'm not very I know some astrology stuff, but when they kicked Pluto out, I stopped paying attention to it. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like Pluto has a lot to do with like the subconscious, but I'm not sure. Heather says hello, and she's at work. Getting readings at work. I understand that.
Who are we reading for at the moment?
Her name is Heather.
Heather's at work. All right, that's what I thought. Okay, Heather. Three cards have come up that are all speaking similarly. It's kind of interesting. Wow. Okay. So 3 angel cards. One is peace and harmony. This is Archangel Raguel. Wait, let me see. There's a glare. She ain't playing around. And the second card that came up, peaceful warrior. That's Archangel Ariel. And the third card is ease and grace. Ooh. Which it's an echo from earlier, but those 3 cards are speaking to some sort of tumult, some sort of conflict going on in your environment, one of your environments. So it feels like you're being tested greatly, and you're having maybe a hard time finding your composure in this particular situation or series of situations. So I feel like these cards these angelic cards are just reminding you that the peace that you have within is a garden that we are responsible for cultivating at all times. If we don't pull out the weeds on a regular basis, they're going to overrun the garden. The garden is going to lose its beauty unless you love weeds. And some people do. There are some pretty weeds out there that are actually flowers. But what I'm getting is that we have this inner sanctum of peace, and it can constrict and it can expand depending on the type of gardener we are. So all of these cards are really just leading you back to yourself and the part of you that has the capacity to be equanimous. Because when you think of the concept of equanimity, which is non-reactivity, it works in tandem with awareness. It's like 2 wings of a bird, or it's like 2 wheels of a bicycle. This is what creates the balance. The awareness is, how am I feeling and why am I feeling this? And even if you don't have the answers to those things, all of that is information. But the awareness is, okay, this is triggering me. When this happens, I respond like this. So that awareness is like seeing the grid, seeing the patterns. And then the non-reactivity, the equanimity is the other part that comes in to say, not today, Satan. To say like I can almost predict that this person's going to say this, and I'm not, next time it happens, I'm not going to react to it. I'm not going to give it my energy. So that but it takes that, these things take a lot of work. Like, it's no small thing. Like, until we have cleared certain aspects of our past that fuels our responses to things, sometimes we're just walking in circles, chasing our like a dog chasing its tail, until we actually address the thing. Alesha mentioned shadow work earlier, but it's like really addressing those hot buttons that we possess, because what I'm getting from this peaceful warrior card is that you're not necessarily a fighter, you know what I mean? But you are a defender. So it's like you're trying to find that balance where you're not going to let people run you over. You're not going to be a scapegoat, but you don't want to fight, but you're not going to be run over either. So that this is where the peaceful warrior comes in, where you're grounded, like you're grounded in who you are. And so when the winds of life come your way, you're not going to just get blown away. Like, you're going to hold your ground. You might sway, you might tilt, maybe a branch might break, but it will regenerate, and you're rooted, and you're here. So I think, like, really asking for groundedness, because part of the peace, it's like what comes through the mind and funnels through our system. So again, like that, in the spirit of the mind being the battlefield, what you can ask for is, or do for yourself, and both is that sort of grounding. You can ask angelic energies to help you to ground, and you can use different grounding practices, so that you're not so much up here, in this like cerebral space, where you're just more, grounded in the earth, which is how we ultimately feel safe and secure. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Hope it's helpful.
I love that. So it's interesting because we have two Heathers here.
Oh, really?
We do have two Heathers here. And the one, Heather Tokus, she's saying that this really resonates with her. So Heather Lynn,
Oh,
okay, I want to know if it resonates for you. Like, how does that feel? So that way I can clarify that. Okay. Because the original is for Heather Lynn, but Heather Tokus said that she can resonate with that. Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Curious to know.
So, and I see Heather, she just said, "Oh, does it resonate for you?" Because if not, like I have Heather on here twice. So if it doesn't resonate for you, you might be the next one, okay? Just to give you a heads up. But what I was picking up, which I really loved, is that my legs started shaking. Like, my legs started to feel super shaky. And I started talking to my guides, and I'm like, what is this about? And there's this concept, right? Grounding is something that you're working on. So I love that the both of you are like resonating with this at some capacity.
A tale of two Heathers.
Yeah. And we were all in the same space recently. Me and the two Heathers were all in the same space recently. So what I'm going to say is, because I am going to honor that this comes up twice, okay, and I am going to honor that, but there is something happening here where my roots felt very shaky, okay? And when I asked Spirit, like, what's going on here, I heard that you are being moved. Like, you have been calling out to be picked up and uprooted. So I feel like your roots are kind of like dangling in the wind. Like, that was the visualization, and you're getting ready to like be put somewhere else. There's something inside. I kept hearing like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go. So know that just because you are being moved somewhere and because you are proclaiming to your highest self, your God, your inner goddess, whatever it is, okay, that you can still have a certain level of, I'm just observing this, I'm okay with this inside of this moment of ungroundedness. Okay. Okay, looking for a new place to live. Right. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling. It's like I feel like you're being uprooted to be planted somewhere else. And during that time, it can feel very difficult to stay grounded because you're literally energetically feeling this, right? So these are the times where disciplines, rituals, like this is when a lot of good masculine discipline energy comes in, just to kind of, when you get a nice little routine, a nice little ritual down, it keeps the momentum going in the right place. Because sometimes when we're not grounded and we get too far up in the head, we can start losing grasp of what we need to do in order to continue to move forward. So like from a life coaching perspective, what we would really want to do is think about how it's the small steps that get us to our goals. So keep your goals, keep your vision, keep your eye on the prize right now, okay? Because you are being uprooted to be replanted into a soil that is going to nurture you and support you and provide you with what you're looking for. All right. Doing some energy work on self is going to be supportive in this. And even if you are not a certified energy practitioner, you are an infinite being. You have access to energy. You know what I'm saying? So just put your hands over yourself and take some deep breaths and see yourself pushing that white light. Tell yourself that you are grounded, kind of like moving in that direction. Also, if you feel grounding wise, having a nice little poster board, a piece of paper with like, this is my to-do list. To-do lists are absolutely grounding for the mind. Okay. So keep that in mind as well. And that's what I was picking up for you. So I hope that this is helpful. And next on the list is Maureen.
Maureen.
Nice. And Heather Tokus, you were next on the list. Like you're the next Heather on the list, so we'll get to you here in just a bit.
Maureen wants to join us.
Maureen wants to join?
Yay!
Yay. Can you click on that link? Oh, here we go.
Hey.
Hi. Hi, love.
I miss you so much.
I miss you. You have been on my mind. How are you?
Let me see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, apparently my headset's not doing anything. Let me turn you up.
Okay.
Okay.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. Perfect.
Peace and love, Maureen.
It's nice to meet you.
Likewise, you've been such a great participant since the very beginning. Your energy came on since live, like
my anxiety is through the roof right now, so sorry. My cat's gonna join too. Come here.
no apologies.
Feeling vibes of the cat purr.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna just interject herself. So
the first card that came up, and this card actually came up right away, and then I put it back, and it flew out again. Cut the cords. This has to do with some energetic situation connected to a person or to an event. That's definitely sapping your energy. So So when this card arises, it's usually, asking us to really look at the different, where we feel heat, like where the heat comes in to our being, like when something happens or when a person approaches us a particular way, like where's their coolness and like where's their heat, and the places where there's heat is a place to be examined. If this is like something that's like, they say, we always talk about like, let's let go of things that no longer serve me, right? I've always find that such an interesting, expression that we've all adopted, because what we're really saying is that even though the situation sucked, it still served me in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And that time has come to an end. And there's a point where we're like, thanks, no thanks, and goodbye. And it's like a place where you're like, all right, I have learned everything that I could possibly learn from this backhanded situation. Like I've been through all the chapters and verses. I have graduated in this mess, and now I'm trying to graduate out of it. So like, this is that moment, like whatever it is, whatever event or situation this is, it's asking you to sever the connection so that you can be more liberated, because it's something that's like holding you back energetically. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Yes. Alesha understands all too well.
Okay.
what that means, which is the continual struggle. But yes, that is.
Oh, wow. You said
that
15.
is very relevant, very relevant to my current situation. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you're saying it's a 15-year struggle? You said, did you say 15 years?
15. I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I just wanted to make sure I heard you. Did you say it's a 15-year struggle?
Oh God, no. I mean, well, I've struggled for a very long time, but no, it's been, it's in my career currently. So it's going on about 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this a cord you have considered cutting? Like, is this a decision that's on the table for you right now?
I have been trying to for months, and I would say that the act of cutting the cord has been a challenge because nothing has presented itself that was worth moving on to. So trying to get out of this situation has been the issue, but also trying to find something better has been just as much of a challenge. So I've got my hands full.
Okay. There's this liminal space between the actual physical removal of yourself from the situation, which is like getting another gig,
mm-hmm.
versus this sort of emotional cord that you have to a situation that you're still in, like that you can't get out of right away. Like I see that I see the cord as like a dual thing, because sometimes, what if, for instance, one of us has to take care of an elderly parent, and like this is just the bag right now. But this elderly parent, the way that they have aged, they're very hard to deal with. You know what I mean?
That applies too.
Oh shit! No way.
On point.
Just for example,
you cannot be
the captains, I guess.
You cannot be more right. Yes. Anything
Right.
else you'd like to just hit the nail on the head?
Sometimes hammers do that. So it's a situation that sometimes this is what makes. There's a type of theory in playwriting called the duality of opposites, where duality of opposition, where it's like part of the story is that these two people are locked in a situation that they can't wriggle their way out of. And so it's like how you navigate that. So that energetic cord is sometimes the expectation that it's going to be a particular way,
Mm-hmm.
like the expectation that this is going to get better, the expectation that this person's just going to get it. And this applies to both situations. So the cord that I feel like I'm dealing with, because when I'm a true believer, like on the other side of the situation, when you learn what it is you need to learn, that other gig is going to be right there, like waiting for you, like ready for you to slide right on in. But the reason why this situation is not letting go of you as yet is because I feel like there's still something inside of your internal management to rectify before you are able to graduate to the next chapter. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, and it always sucks to say as a reader, when someone really is trying hard to navigate a situation, that there's like something more or something different they could be doing, when they feel like they've exhausted all options, when they feel like they've done everything. So it's hard, especially when you don't know the person or what the actual situation is. I'm not a mind reader. It's just I'm getting this intuitive hit that there's still more for you to look. That cutting of the cord is actually like your expectations, what you want it to be, because your expectations are actually what's key, and that those expectations not being met or seen or even friggin' cared about, it's keeping you in a very low vibrational state. And that's actually what's making it harder for you to kind of climb out, because a lot of this is law of attraction. You know what I mean? It's like the difference, like when you see yourself in a dream running, like, are you running away from something or are you running towards something? And right now, it's like you're running away. You're trying to run away from the situation that you're in. And this is why maybe there's a blockage. There's like a blockage because there's still something inside of yourself that you're running from in this act. Does it make sense?
It could. I don't know what it could be. I think probably the best way that I could describe the situation is I just feel completely deflated right now. And I don't even have the ability to find clarity in the situation anymore. And it's almost like I'm just ready to give up, because I've just exhausted absolutely every avenue that I can think of, and I'm just spent.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I hear that. And I feel that because I've been in similar situations in the past where you flip it, you reverse it, like you're just doing all the emotional gymnastics. Yes. And it's just nothing. You're always hitting a wall, So, and but there's a second card that came up. Oh, this is beautiful. Vulnerability and freedom.
What were you saying about shadow work?
We're all going through it.
I was almost waiting for you to say something about it.
about shadow work. Shadow work. What I can say about shadow work is that sometimes I feel like the word work can be revised. It's like shadow love, because like I think the aim here is to fall in love with our past, present, and future. Like where you clear the past, you see the past for what it is, you see where it brought you to where you are, and it neutralizes your charges around it, because you understand that, oh, this is what this taught me. When you start stacking the benefits of your losses or of the slights, of the traumas, when we start to really look at it through the lens of I don't want to say abundance is not the right word. When we think abundance, we think of financial abundance, but I think abundance is also a perspective that we bring to life. Like there's so much here. Like I gained so much from my losses. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of the answers behind things, to me, it's about actually healing our perspective, like healing the actual psyche, like closing those fissures. And I feel like the shadow work sounds so belabored, but the shadow love is where it's this understanding that there's this side of us that we've been sweeping under the rug, since we've realized like there's aspects of us that are going to be easily rejected. And it's not aspects of us that are necessarily bad. It's just like you're a kid and you could have been really affectionate growing up and you had an inaffectionate parent who's like, get off me. And then, okay, let me stop hugging people. But, you know, and you keep that under the rug. It could be you had some incredible spiritual abilities that your Christian family or whatever didn't get down with, and sweep that under the rug, you know? So it's like shadow love is not necessarily like the dragon lady part of us that I certainly have, you know, that you don't want everyone to see. Sometimes it's these softer, more intuitive parts of us that never really got their time to play. And so like after we sweep all this under the rug and sweep this under the rug, the reason why I say shadow love is because the shadow is actually that friend that like holds all of that, you know, like it holds all of these stories, and it like knows our shit and knows our shortcomings and misgivings, and it like holds it all. And it will not reveal, you know, and it reveals itself when it's like the rug gets too saturated with dust, then stuff will come out, you know? And so it's like the shadow love is to like pick up that mat and dust it out. And so it's like, I don't know, like I think that shadow love work is just so different for everyone. But the vulnerable space that you're in right now, I think even though it feels like I just feel deflated, I feel defeated, I also feel like in those moments, it's also this opportunity for like a recalibration. But sometimes it's just not felt in your energetic body at all, but it's something that's happening in the universe, you know, that's on its way to you. But it's like this like weird holding pattern space where you're like, I don't know what to do. Is that where you are? Like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know where to turn. And that's an extremely vulnerable space to be. And I feel like there's just like this desire for freedom. So this like vulnerability, this interplay between vulnerability and freedom, I find so interesting because this card is really about like the endurance of harsh experiences, you know, like going through harsh experiences and feeling like your confidence is on the floor. Like, you know, there's like that buoyancy of, you know, that pep in your step because, you know, you believe in yourself. Like this is all of this has been compromised incredibly by like whatever you're experiencing. And so there's this, of course we talk about now it's like, it's more normal to talk about vulnerability and strength as two sides of the same coin. I think more of us are moving towards this understanding because before, Alesha, you know, it's like either you're vulnerable or you're strong, but this card is really asking you to see your vulnerability as a strength. Like you are feeling your feelings. You're feeling everything. You're not like bullying through life. You're not like with blinders on trying to harden your heart through it. Like you're like, your heart is soft. You know what I mean? It's soft through your experiences. And I think that is actually very strong, to actually allow yourself to feel what it is you're feeling. So like there's merit in that. Even though it sucks, there's like a merit in that. There's a merit in coming to terms with how you feel. And so it's saying that, you know, this vulnerability gives you a chance to find the strength that will bring you your freedom. So it's like this sort of like there's like an opportunity to transmute whatever it is you're feeling, because that freedom is like leaving that place. Like that's your freedom. Like that's where like life will open up to you again. That's where you'll be able to be utilized properly, where you feel like you're in alignment with your skills, with the people around you, and that you're a part of something that values you. And that you can flex and flow in that space, and you're not trapped in this like box, you know? So like that's the freedom that you're craving, and that's the freedom that's at your fingertips. There's something in me that just wants to tell you that, like, that freedom is not something that's like far over the horizon. that it just feels like it's going to take forever to get there. It feels like something that's like very close. It's like within your grasp.
I hope so. I'm so tired.
I know. So I feel like it's really important for you at this time to really reflect on the parts of you that you really love and admire. Because when you're in a situation like that depletes you, it really messes with your self-esteem and with your self-image and like how you see yourself. And so like there's some, I feel like the shadow love, like I feel like that's actually what it is. It's not like focusing on the parts of you that don't work for society, not focusing on the parts of you that, I think it's actually focusing on the parts of you that you do admire, because I feel like that has been in the shadows. Your shadow love assignment is to fall back in love with yourself. Like the dope parts of you that are not being seen and valued in this moment. That's actually what's in the shadows.
You're right.
And I feel like that's going to be great medicine for you, is to just be in the remembrance of how amazing you are, and actually how perfect you are, how perfectly imperfect you are, that even your mistakes are correct, because it feels like whatever small mistakes you make are being magnified, amplified. And so, yeah, your shadow love is to fall back in love with the qualities that you're glad that you have. Like every day that I pray, I thank my source for making me exactly who I am and for fashioning me so perfectly. That's like my opening when I pray, like just being grateful to be you. Once I feel like just like that just feels like the medicine that's coming forward, is just to bask in your own dopeness. It sounds simple, but I don't think we do it enough. I don't think any of us really do that enough, but I think that just feels very present for you right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah. What came in for me is your nervous system is taxed right now. Okay, so what really wanted to be brought forward, which you already knew, you walked in here, you're like, my anxiety's through the roof. Okay, but how they wanted to give this perspective is really tuning in that whenever our nervous systems are in that sympathetic state, that we get into that fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flood, and fatigue. Okay, so if we're just looking at it from the perspective of not the beautiful goddess creator, like infinite spiritual being that you are, when we're just looking at it from the meat suit that we're in right now, what they wanted to kind of like really recognize is that your body is in this state right now. Okay, and what it's kind of convincing your mind to be in this state of control, okay, and micromanaging. Like there's something inside that is just like and I love how Samantha kind of hit it, and it's like expectation, but it's like it has to be this way, it has to be this way, this, and I want you to know that your body's doing that because it's in fear mode, it's in that fight mode. Okay, so it is going to try to like micromanage in order to give it some kind of feeling of safety. Okay, and what they want to suggest is to support your body in that. Some guided meditations. Okay, some guided meditations are really going to help, and they specified like visual, if you can find some guided meditations that are visualizing you in this new life, this new job, in this new space, that not only are you going to be breathing and relaxing, but then you are also going to be using your creative force to begin to energetically start to pull in that thing. Okay, but because the nervous system is taxed and the body's kind of like in this like mode, it's starting to pour out in ways that just are not loving. Okay, not loving to you, and not loving to like this amazing opportunity to even be alive, to like co-create. Like you're missing out on your life right now because of this sympathetic state that you're in. Okay. They also said, this song kept coming into my mind, and it's called Look Up. And the girl's name, her first name is Joy, but the song says, I'll kind of go through it real quick. But sometimes your life feels like a broken roller coaster, 1,000 broken moving parts. Sometimes you spend your life too scared of getting older, camping out in the back seat of your car. Okay, but then it says, look up, do you see the sunlight? Look up, there's flowers in your hair. Hold on, 'cause somebody loves you. You know trouble's always gonna be there. Don't let it bring you to your knees. Look up. So there's something inside of me that's like saying, there is goodness around you. And it may not be people. It may not be the organizations that are in place in this 3-dimensional world, but it's almost like Mother Earth and like grandfather son are like, look up to us. Please remember that like there is still something, even if it's like grasping at straws, like grasp at those straws at this point, because all it's going to do is it's going to remind you that you are more than your money. You are more than these challenges that you are facing. Like you are finally connected to so many living spirits that really love you and really want to support you, and that they feel that your meat suit, like your organism, is getting really pulled away from just the organic beauty that is just to be alive. And they want you to like look up at the sky, look up at the expansiveness, see the flowers in your hair, know that you are loved, and that trouble's going to be there, but just try not to let it bring you to your knees. And I know that you've been in this space for a long time, and my heart's been going out to you that this gets resolved. And like Samantha, I kept saying, like, I feel like it's right there. I feel like it's right there. And sometimes on this spiritual journey, like it really is about like cutting the energetic cord. It's like this situation has taken up so much of your life and so much of your energy. It almost feels like you're shackled to it, like you're chained to it at this point.
Yeah.
And so how can we begin to break that chain energetically, so that way you can start moving towards what is already, like, it is literally right outside of you somewhere. Like the both of us can see it. So guided meditations, because meditation is working with your subtle and energy body, working with your vision, your joy, your hopefulness, and listening to some good music will help raise your vibration as well. And that's what I have for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another card that flew out. Sorry about interrupting.
That's okay.
Just self-acceptance. See how she's like cupping her face. It just kind of aligns with what Alesha's saying, but also just the other cards too, that you it's like about, like you're talking about the angels, Alesha, and all these like beings that are like in support that support us. It's like looking at us through their eyes, almost like where there's just the way they like, these angels like know every hair on our heads. You know what I mean? Like they hold us in such high regard. They don't feel the emotions that we feel, and they know that we're having a real human struggle here. And like the universe bows to us in ways that we don't know. It's like we're being cheered on. It's like we're gladiators in the field being cheered on by this etheric team that we often are can't tap into or don't. It's like it's like seeing ourselves through their eyes, like our heroic journey. And it's just going back to like that self-acceptance. And I just love what you said, Alesha, again, about just cutting the cords of the situation, even though you're still there, because when it's time for you to flex and leave, then you've already done the work to disconnect yourself. I just remember there was a woman that I used to work with at this agency for children. And she was awesome. Like, but there was towards the end of her time there, you could just see how whatever she was going through on, like, the kids loved her, but you could tell she was probably going through a lot with like upper management. And there was like a point where she just detached. Like, she just didn't care anymore. She came to work. She did the bare minimum, but you could see in her energy that she had already left. And I remember, like, she didn't find another job yet, you know, but she was definitely searching, as you are. But she just didn't. Her energy. I felt that cord cut. Like, she cared so much. She worked so hard, and then she just hit a wall. I remember going into her office, and I was like, you know, what's been going on with you, Madeline? You know, and she's just like, I just don't want to be here anymore.
I feel that in my soul.
It was just so clean. Like, I just don't want to be here anymore.
And
2 months later, she was gone. But I just really, even though, like, as a coworker who worked with her at the time, I was just like, dang, like, where's that energy? We used to work shoulder to shoulder with stuff. But like, when she said that, I just felt such like reverence for that, like, for that feeling. And because I was kind of starting to take it personal. And when she said that, I just realized, oh, you know, she's on her journey, and she went about her journey. So yeah, like that was an example of someone who cut the cords before she actually departed. And I feel like the job that she got after that, she was so much happier. Like, she transformed her life. But yeah, so this self-acceptance card comes when someone's self-esteem has gone through the ringer. And it's just asking you to go back to that space of remembrance, like we talked about earlier, about like why you're the dope person that you are, and like why you're here, and how people in your life see you, and like how your angels see you, and just try to look at yourself from these various perspectives to kind of heal that open wound. Yeah.
Yeah, the vulnerability, just that word alone was, I think, one of the first things that I think I ever opened up to you, Alesha, about, was something that I needed to work on, was allowing myself to feel vulnerable, because I always have to have not even just control, but I just have to have a plan, because everything in my life has just been absolute chaos, like, for so long, that's the only way that I have any normality. But I've never allowed myself to be vulnerable in a way that, you know, would really resonate on a spiritual level. And I think now it's catching up with me.
It's a journey. And a lot of us like to like wear ourselves out until like the universe slaps us down, and then we have to like build it back up, you know? And I think that you're doing a great job. It's difficult. Whenever we've had to be strong for a long time, to understand that vulnerability is not weakness, that it is also strength as well. It is a whole other side to the coin of strength. So
absolutely. Yeah, it's allowing yourself to experience the hardship, letting it affect you. And I can actually relate to that. There were I went years where I just hardly cried. You know, I'm a crier. I actually realized in my 30s, oh shit, I'm a crier. But my whole 20s, I didn't cry. I didn't cry over a breakup. I didn't cry over nothing. And it's like I really struggled with my vulnerability because of the barriers that I had to put up to get through childhood and to like make my way into the world. And to, you know, people always expected me to be the happy one, and you know, I delivered. And but yeah, there was like a taste of life that I was missing. Like there was something very, very, there was something that I was missing about my experiences. It's like when your barriers are up, like no light comes in and no light comes out, and the world does not see you for who you are. And so that vulnerability card makes more sense now to what you're saying, because it's really, that card's really, you know what it is too? I actually feel your vulnerability now. So that's what was kind of it was messing with me a little bit, because I actually feel it now. But like that card usually comes for people that their barriers are just so up. And so it's actually like, this is that time where you ask for help. This is that time when you let down those shields. This is that time when you rely on the etheric protection around you that you could place more trust in. This is the time when you can call in that protection, when you walk into a situation that is going to be, emotionally taxing. So it's like asking for different forms of protection so that you could drop your shields. So I think that's the cleanest transmission from that card, like given your situation.
I agree. It's very relevant.
Awesome.
Well, thank you both. Sending you love.
Thank you.
I hope I see you soon.
Glad to have you here.
This was
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we got you.
All righty. So next up is Daniela. Are you still here?
See you, Daniela.
Let's see.
Maureen's one of your people.
Oh yeah.
So lovely.
Everybody that's come up so far.
People.
Everyone's been great. I don't know if yeah. And then the further down we go, we get more and more. So let's see.
Oh.
I see she's online. I know she's online. She kind of gave a shout out. Oh, she's coming on.
It took me
Oh,
wow.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So nice to have you here.
Coco's going to join apparently too.
Okay. All right. How are you today?
Good. Glad to be here. Feeling empowered.
Awesome. So glad to have you here. It's always nice having you around.
Oh, there's like cards flying out all over the place.
That's her energy.
I was going to say I got a lot of people.
Right now, I'm like all over the place. Like what's okay. Just try to streamline this message here.
A little bit.
Okay. All right. I think this life journey itself is a set of works. And then we go through, we were talking about training eras earlier, that we go through these chapters that are sets of works. And I feel like the cards that have come up, there's some set of work on the table for you surrounding forgiveness and understanding. Does this resonate for you?
I don't know.
You don't know? I think there's sometimes there's certain points in my life where forgiveness feels very present for me. Like there's something on my heart that I haven't really let go of, and it could be something going on inside of me where I'm giving myself a side eye, or it's like someone in my life. And sometimes it's not so apparent, and I have to dig for it. That's why I just asked you straight up, like, if this is something that, if there's a touch point here around this, because it's layered. It's layered. Because what this card is really transmitting is that there is an opportunity in your life, in some interaction with yourself or with another, or with a situation, because there's been certain situations in my life personally where it's like, it's not a particular person that I'm feeling a way towards. It's like the situation itself, you know what I mean? Where it just wasn't fair to anyone. And it's not a person, it's actually an event. So there's different things that we can forgive. It's not only people, it's not only us. Sometimes it's situations that were sort of beyond our understanding that leads us into a space of confusion, bewilderment, and bitterness. And so what's coming through is that it's not so much about forgiveness, even though the card says forgiveness. It's more so about understanding and acceptance. Once we're able to accept a situation that took place, it was like, okay, that sucked, that hurt, that ripped me apart. It happened. I still feel the effects of it. But when we come to a point of acceptance of what happens, then forgiveness is not necessary. Forgiveness is a part of that equation, because the acceptance is actually what neutralizes everything. It's like that acceptance, and then like the brass ring of it all is actual gratitude, which I think is like the hardest. Gratitude is the hardest, and not in a spiritual bypassy way that you're just paving the road with gratitude, even though there's like hella hella potholes that you haven't really filled. But like truly, when you learn to love it, like you learn to love your past, even though it kicked you around. You learn to love your present, even though it's hard, and you learn to love your future because your present and your past, you have reached a space of neutralization in that acceptance process. And so I don't even think this is about forgiveness, but I think it is about understanding the grid, like understanding the series of events that brought you to this moment. Part of the self-acceptance journey is accepting all of us, which is everything that we've been deprived of and everything that we've been subjected to. And to create the configuration, the unique thumbprint that we are, that no one is like you on this planet. And like, once we're able to like breathe light into that uniqueness that we all hold, and see the perfection in the imperfections and see the correctness in the mistakes, then you reach, it neutralizes those fissures in the psyche that still feel like we're victims of these situations and that there's someone to blame, including ourselves. And so that, I don't know, I just feel so powerfully about this card for you. I don't know like what it is, but there's a doorstep where you can arrive at, where you can accept a few things. It takes some work to get there. But that's an inner work that is so personal, that is so intimate. It's like almost like no one belongs there. Like that's your bag. That's your bag to look in and like decide, okay, like this bag of stones that I've been carrying for so long that I don't even know how strong I am. You know, like when you put the bag down, it's not always easy to put the whole bag down, but you can go inside and like look and see the contents and see like this rock is like way too big. Like I'm not trying to carry this anymore. Let me like look at this rock and really decide like whether I'm really trying to carry this chapter. And so it's like I think it's unrealistic and like not authentic to say, oh good, just put the bag down, girlfriend. It's not that easy. Like but I think we can like start stone by stone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like I get it now.
And the second card is listen deeply. And someone or something, and it could be you, really begs your attention. Like your deep, active, soulful, mindful listening. That means that it's almost like if you're in a relationship and like it's like clashing and everyone wants to get their point across and it's like back and forth. It's like that minute where it's like where each person is allowed to speak for 20 minutes with no interruptions. It's like that, you know, like it's like a tool like that. And like maybe that's something you need to do for yourself, like journal, where you can like materialize your feelings on paper or your thoughts or like your experiences or however you're processing your experience. There's a difference between like it processing up here where thoughts become minnows that are like swimming around and it's hard to catch them and harness them. They're all over the place. They're swimming in every direction versus like channeling that kind of chaotic head energy and it into a dimension where it becomes a mirror. And it's like something that you can hold and it's something that you can burn. It's something that you can, you know, put in the mail and send to somebody if it's in the form of a letter. You know, like something, I don't know, I'm just feeling that for you. Like there's a deep listening. I feel like it's like listening to yourself. Maybe there's someone else. Maybe there's someone else that needs your attention, that needs your undivided attention, that needs your ear. But I'm just feeling like all of this is like very internal. It's like learning to be your own best friend again. You know, like learning to be your best friend, like the way that you listen to a friend, you know, with that undivided attention, like with that love, like with that lack of judgment. It's like you deserve to do that for yourself. It's actually upon you. It's upon you to give yourself that space. You've certainly earned it. And the third card is Holy Love. This is a mother energy. This is like a divine maternal energy that's like trying to swirl around you. It feels like you need like a mothering, feminine, warm, energetic embrace around your heart, like, and your auric field. Like there's something about that like sturdy feminine energy. Like masculine energy can be sturdy too, but it's a different sturdy, you know, there's like a different sturdiness to that divine mother energy. Like this is the sturdiness that brings the world into being, you know. It just feels very present for me. And with this card, that you need a whole lot of that, and that's something that you could call into, that you could call to you. I was once going through a tumultuous period where I'm a pretty cool character for the most part. So when I feel differently, it's like very clear, like when I'm misaligned. And I was waking up feeling nervous, you know, like waking up with my heart rattling, like because of the uncertainty of this era of my life. And when I started learning about like working with angelic energies, you know, what was so interesting in what I learned is that, you know, angels respond to our free will, like they really respect our free will, and they come when called. You know, they come when like they get dispatched like a military, you know, like you send up your prayers or your petitions or whatever, and like they get dispatched. And but they're not going to just swoop in and do a bunch of stuff. So it's like there's like an awareness, and this has helped me a lot, is just the awareness that there are helpful energies around me that are at the ready, and that it's on me, you know, to call them in. And when I there's angels that protect, there's angels that heal, there's angels specifically to comfort. This like holy love energy, this very maternal, angelic presence is something that you can call to comfort you. It sounds like, I don't know how it sounds, but when I started doing this research on angel studies and stuff, I did experiment with it, and I was so amazed because I just woke up one morning and felt like my heart was gonna like fall out of my chest. It was so uncomfortable. I'm like, why am I waking up feeling like this? And I asked the divine, like, please send angels of comfort for me. And like, it was like an immediate blanket of peace settled over my heart. The situation was still the same, and I did see my way out of it and through it. But it was like how I felt inside made all the difference. And it was just, it's like kind of what Reiki does sometimes. Like you feel like an ache somewhere and it shifts. It was like that. It was like that frenetic feeling I was feeling in my chest just immediately neutralized. And so that's what I offer you. Like you have support, call it in through, call it in. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. All of it. All of it.
Yeah. So for me, what I got was I actually drew this picture of like the chest and neck area, and there was like a big X over the throat. But like the energy coming from my heart was like pouring like waves, like giant waves coming out of my hands, and I was like, what is that about? And um I wrote down the heart space, showing love, doing for others. That one way that you have been giving love to yourself, like it's almost like you give love to yourself by giving love to others. Like that makes you feel good, right? So it's just like all of this is coming out of the hands. It's like I want to love, I want to love, I want to love. And the question that kept coming up was like, but how do I feel? But really, how do you fill your own cup? Like, how do you selfishly fill your cup? Not everybody else's to fill yours. Like, how do you just only fill your cup? And like, I have in big letters, be selfish. And it's like underlined. Like, it is time to be selfish, because that being selfish, that is such a shadow. This is where we're talking about shadow love, right? Like, selfishness is considered to be a shadowy trait, but it's not. Selfishness is actually one of the ways to cultivate self-love, especially with people who are constantly giving to others, And I found it super interesting that like this feels blocked. It's like, I'm not going to speak about what my needs are. I'm going to express my love and express what my needs are by doing it for other people. But I know that you have been, since I know you've been exploring speaking about what your needs are, speaking it and like getting the love that you so deserve. And so I think that one big message that's coming through is that you are unlayering this, and don't give up on that. Like, you really have poured more than enough into the people in your life, the people that love you. You are constantly doing that, and now it's time to pour into you, to be selfish, and that it's okay, and that to know that it's safe. I keep hearing like but what if, they've gotten so used to me doing this. It's like, one thing you're going to find out is that the people that really love you, they're going to stay no matter what. Like, they love you, not what you do for them. They love you. And I hear almost inside of me like that's something that you've been wondering, and like there's a part of you that's seeking that knowing. Like, I want to know that you love me for me and not for what I do for you. And the only way that you can really find that out is by stop giving all of the time, outpouring that, okay, and to pour it into yourself and be like, I'm being selfish. I'm just doing it because that's what I need right now. And it is going to surprise some people, but it's mostly going to surprise the people that also don't know that that's okay. And sometimes we have to live it in order to let people know, like, it's okay to pour into your own cup and not be worrying about everybody else's for a minute. So give. I also like that super mother energy is give. And it reminds me of you. Like, you have just like this energy. And so it's like, again, you're just giving what you need, what you're calling out for to everyone else. And now it's time to like give all of that beautiful mama, like love, divine energy to you. And I feel like it's going to really catalyst you into this next part of self-empowerment and self-love. Okay. Be selfish. Do it. It's not that bad.
It's much easier
it's not
to
bad.
say than to do, I think.
What'd you say?
I said that's much easier to say than for me to do.
Oh, yeah, and it's just a practice. Like, literally, so for me, I was very similar. And what I started to do was like, I would buy something, and something that I knew that I wanted. It would be like, and something that I knew that maybe everybody else in my house would want. And I knew that they'd be like, can I have a piece of that? And I would say no. And it was so hard to be like, no, you cannot have a bite of this cake. And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, no, you cannot have it. This is for me. And then they'd all be like, wah, wah, you know, E, what? That's not nice. And I'm like, yo, like, I have to do this. Like, I have to do it. This is so minuscule. Like, a tiny piece of cake. Like, let your mother have a tiny piece of cake. Dang it. and it was so nice because once I did it, I realized she survived. And she survived without that one bite of cake. And I felt so awkwardly proud of myself. I'm like, yeah, you know, sometimes I'll like go and just get, you know, go buy myself something without buying something for someone else. So I always suggest do something small, do something very small. Like, I'm going to go out. I'm not going to buy anything for anyone else. I'm going to do something for me. And, yeah, save the big stuff for later. Save that big stuff for later. I have a chocolate bar that is in my bedroom, in my drawer. Like, when I have a piece of chocolate, I'm like, no, this is mine.
You just reminded me, Alesha, that I bought a donut for myself earlier today, and I'm so busy hiding it from the kids. I have it in my bag, and I completely forgot about it.
There we go.
I just got it
for two right there.
And I also bought myself a scalp massager. And like, no one's allowed to use it. This is my scalp massager. Like, I'm really I like to call selfish self-full.
Yeah.
Like, because you're full of yourself and you're filling yourself. You know, with the things you choose to do for yourself. So it really is those little things. I love that example of just, no, you can't have my piece of cake. Like, this is, can I have a whole piece of cake? Yeah.
I think I have way too much cake. Maybe I just need some mothering.
Mothering. Yeah. Go for a nice walk by yourself. Go for whatever you feel. Like, whatever it is that you are craving, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you are only doing it for you and not for everyone else. Because I'm telling you, that energy that's like pouring out of my arms, I was like, oh, dang, like, that is powerful. And it is powerful. And like, you do deserve to share that with people. I can totally see how like that amount of energy pouring out does fill your cup at some capacity. I can totally feel that, but it's not teaching, it's teetering into, and this word is so strong, but like martyrism. And like, women are so taught to like to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice, and like, that story I'm really hoping will be eliminated from the psyche. Like, you are a giver. We know that. Like, you are that. You don't have to prove it anymore. So like, give it to yourself. Like, show us what it would look like for you to be selfish, because I'm sure it like wouldn't even look like much because you are just so naturally a giver. It would be beautiful. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, we got some comments. You deserve to love yourself. You are a force. Those are from Marley. So like, you are seen, you are loved.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
You know, I'm easy. I don't want to. Nothing to say. You win.
I love you.
All right. Love you too.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So next up is Heather T. Heather, are you still here? How are you feeling, Samantha? You feeling okay?
I'm cool, yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
Right.
I think
If you guys
like 15 minutes left in me.
Okay. Trying to see.
I'm trying to see who's here. It's been so lovely to interact with your people, and I love when we're able to see them and interact, and It's like makes a lot of difference, doesn't it?
It does. I thought it would be fun to like put the link in to see how that felt. Okay, awesome. Heather is here. So we can go ahead and bust that out. And she had already said she didn't want to be on camera today. Okay. So we'll just let you pull those cards and
all right. Message.
And for those of you that have loved your reading, please consider sending the amazing Samantha a donation, whatever you can. Her Cash App is the $ Samantha Thornhill. Her Venmo is at Samantha Speaks. Show her some love.
Okay. Oh gosh. I love when this card comes up. Especially when it just flies out first. This card's asking you, entreating you, inviting you to do the work. That's not usually a card that has people at hello. But this is about spiritual work. This is about light work. This is about the practices that ground and anchor us. This is about the practices that align us with our intentions and inspires our will. So when this card arrives, it's usually, this spiritual path isn't an easy one. And there's so many moving parts to it. It's like there's so many balls to juggle, and it's like really easy to drop a few balls, and that's okay, But it's a time where if you feel like you've dropped a few balls and they've like lingered on the floor, like there's probably a few balls that you can pick up again to help you through whatever you're going through. This is about discipline. It's about action. It's about effort. And it's about surrender as well. Like that surrender is a type of work that I don't think we champion often, because we often see doing the work as like, yeah, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to, work out 4 days a week. That's cool. But I feel like with another card that came out, there's a theme of trust threaded through your life. Maybe at this time, or maybe it's been going on for some time, but almost like you're having trouble trusting yourself, or trusting the forces, or trusting the schematic, trusting the universe. That's why this card came up. There's the word that feels really present for me in this doing the work is the surrender. Because maybe it is that you go hard, you know what I mean? But when do you actually just like relax and just allow the universe to recalibrate yourself for your benefit, So there's some work, there's some inner work that needs to be done so that you can really manifest what it is that you desire. And like part of that is I think your practices, your consistency, and then also just surrendering to the moment, which is about mindfulness and the universe itself, like just understanding that this is a co-creative process. And sometimes I think we forget that. I know I do. I mean, say you're going out you're trying to get this job and you don't get it. And that means someone else got it. That's what that means. Maybe that person needed it more than you did. Maybe it was more aligned with them than it would have been with you. That was for them. And sometimes we're housing this disappointment, taking it personally. Why was I not enough? I put my best foot forward when there's something else for you, that's better suited for you. So it's like a thing. It's like life is such a divine matrix. There's so many interwoven threads. There's so many players involved. Most of which we don't even see. So it's just it's just the remembrance of that, my beloved. But this do the work. I feel like in your physical material life, you're going really hard, and you're like doing that work. But I feel like the inner work to support what you're doing is perhaps falling by the wayside. But you have like a really strong inner power. This divine father card, this is sort of like that divine masculine energy. That's like your will is so strong, like your determination, your ambition. Like, wow. Like when this card comes up, this is a card of true this is a true co-creator, like that you are. So this is a big nod in that direction, that you are a very powerful being. But there is a sort of type of feminine, divine feminine surrender that you can integrate more into your being to support that strong energy that you lead with. Let me know if that makes sense.
Yeah, and what I'm picking up on is that they're in the brain, it's almost like my attention is kind of like jumping all over the place. Like there's just like a lot going on. And there might even be like a little bit of like it feels more like the jumping of my attention, but I also feel just like a little bit of fogginess as well, like almost like my mind is a little bit not as sharp. um and so what I heard is just like really buckling down on a schedule and a routine that supports the balance of both the things that you are doing and the things that you need to fill your cup, right? Like I can't do energy work all day every day if I'm not meditating, if I'm not doing the work. Like I just can't. Like then I start getting I start having symptoms of that. So it's very important for me to take care of myself in order to be able to show up in this 3D world and really like begin to work on like harvesting the fruits of my labor. Like I have to put in the inner work in order to receive all of this stuff that I'm getting out here as well. So yeah, just buckle down on like a self-care routine, okay? Hopefully that resonated for you. So next up we have Marley. Do you still have some energy, Samantha?
Yeah.
We have 3 left. If that's all right with you.
Let's do it.
All right. So we have Marley. Hey, Marley.
Marley.
You still here? If you are, drop a comment. While you're doing that, my masculine is stronger than my feminine. Currently adjusting my schedule to get more inner work done. Nice.
Oh, great. Yeah, you're trying to find that sweet spot between effort and effortlessness. Because the effort, you're definitely putting in that work, like you're definitely putting in that effort in those directions. But yeah, like when you do that inner work to like buoy the work that you're doing, then you find that effortlessness in it. It becomes more of a flow, more ease. Yeah.
Just waiting to hear back from Marley. Marley, I'm just going to give you a couple more, like another minute to check in if you're still here.
I saw she left a comment a while back, but
Yeah, about 15 minutes ago.
That's when we're, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
People are trying to join their group so they can see the live. People from my side, they're like, I need to be added so I can see.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Missy.
Well, up next is Missy.
Okay.
So.
Missy. All right. So no Marley. We have Missy. All right. All right, Missy. All right, I'm gonna show you the 3 cards that came up. The first one being compassion. I feel like they tell a story. The first one is compassion. The second one is Archangel Sandalphon. This is about the miracle of prayer. And the third card is Mother, Father, God. I'm wondering, I don't know how, I'm wondering how connected these cards are to like a particular situation. But when this Mother, Father, God card comes up, it usually has to do with, I find that it usually comes through when someone has issues with their parental figure on earth. And there's a misalignment, if there's a misalignment there. And this card is trying to help us to grow into this remembrance that there is a divine parent to all of us, and that really in the schematics of the universe, we're all brothers and sisters on this planet. Like it's an equal plane. So there's role and then there's soul. So we have our parents who we come through, who raise us, you know, who do their thing. They do their thing, okay? And whatever it is they do, it affects us in beautiful and adverse ways. And there are many ways in which some of our parents, it could be seen as like, they handled us inadequately in some way. You know what I mean? So sometimes a lot of like hurt and resentment, there's like a bad taste in your mouth from your parents at times. I don't know how it is for you, but I have certainly had to, you know, go through this period of like really being honest with myself and with my parents about my experience with them. You know, I was subjected to you, and this is what I experienced. And those are very hard conversations to have outwardly. But so this card is transmitting this understanding that, you know, we have this universal parent, and then we have these parents on earth who are actually our brothers and sisters, who are actually, you know, sloshing through their own trauma, sloshing through their own grief, sloshing through their own shit, their own human shit, while trying to cultivate us. And that sometimes that's not the best equation, or at least the best feeling equation. This is where this compassion card kind of comes in for me, because I realize in order for me to neutralize, some of the issues that I had around my parents, I had to develop a type of compassion for them. And that was hard, because I was only asking for compassion from my own self. And so once I started to kind of turn that compassion in their direction and try to look and understand them, like, you know, and sometimes you're not going to understand people, why they're, especially if they're not open with you, like, why are you like this? Like, like what's really good? There's a sort of empathy that this is a spiritual principle. It's a spiritual muscle that sometimes we're put in the way of developing through these situations. So there's like this like spiritual principle that the Buddhists love, compassion for like our human family, like our human experience, which is this pendulum swing of sloshing and soaring. You know, sometimes there's like, we reach these great heights, and then sometimes we reach these terrible depths. And it's like we're all in that soup, you know, and as much as divided as we are, you know, when the aliens come, we're gonna be very clear that we're all in this together. And so that's the spirit of compassion that this card is asking you to fuse, you know, into your energetic connections with your parents, whether they're here on earth or whether they've, you know, already passed on to the other realm, to the other world. And this miracle of prayer, we all have a different relationship to prayer. We all pray differently. Some of us don't pray at all, but this card is asking you to remember this as a tool, you know, as something great to incorporate into your life, like in a way that makes sense to you. For some people, prayer is very much action. Like it's not about supplicating, you know, which I love too. I pray in all kinds of ways. I put my head to the floor like my Muslim husband. You know, I walk under the night sky and I talk to it. Like, you know, like I pray without moving my lips. Sometimes it's just to say thank you. Sometimes when I feel like an incredible weight on my heart or on my shoulders, you know, I use prayer to sort of like release that. So it's like whatever your relationship to prayer is. Some people have a very fractured relationship to prayer because if they have a compromised relationship to the divine. You know, all of our beliefs are different, but this card is really asking you to pay attention to that tool as one that could be very useful to you. Pray in the protection that you desire. Pray for the things that you wish to cultivate in your being. You know, I don't really pray for material things. I pray for more like wisdom. Like I pray for that, you know, like it's the things that I want to see exhibited in my own character as I work towards my journey of beautification. And prayer is a type of filter for me. And there's such a power in like putting words into the atmosphere, like, you know, in the spirit of the divine mother, father, God, like your prayer is your cosmic right. Like as a child of the universe, like if my son wants to come in here and ask me for a glass of juice, like that's his cosmic right as my child. And it is my cosmic right as his parent to say, wait, to say no, or to say yes, or to say maybe, you know, like whatever my response is, that's my cosmic right also. But so just to put you back in alignment with that prayer, like that prayer is our telephone call to the cosmos. That prayer is our petition, and we have absolute right to do it. And it's a tool, and it's available to you on anytime, for as many times a day as you see fit. And that's what I'm getting.
It's beautiful. Missy is one of my dearest, one of my best friends.
Oh, yay.
So I'm not going to read you, Missy. Because I do it all the time. I'm always connected with you, and I'm always with you. So, and I love you, and I'm so glad that you're here. I've been sending her, like tagging her in your posts, Samantha. I'm like, You've got to see her. You've got to get a reading. So I was super glad that she made it here. I love you. I hope you had a great day. So last but not least, we have Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah. And Tiffany, are you still here? That was a while ago that you, so just checking in. I love you. I can't wait to talk to you later. Like, did you love her? What did you think? Because I love her. She's the best.
I love you. Love best.
Let's see.
Love
Tiffany,
best.
Tiffany. I'm going to give you one more minute. Okay. I have had such a wonderful time witnessing you in your amazing flow, as always. I've been waiting for this moment for a while, and I'm so glad that we anchored this down. I'm not seeing any comment from Tiffany. She might have hopped off. She commented a while back. So, you guys, this is the amazing Samantha Thornhill. Okay. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram. Where else can they find you?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Check out the Aspirant agency.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Daniela says, this was amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Maureen says, thank you both for your time and energy tonight. I would love to meet in person sometime soon, Samantha. Absolutely. Absolutely. If we could go on an oracle journey, it would be so lovely to be able to spend more time with you. This has been so great, Alesha. Your vision is just unparalleled. This felt so easeful and natural to hold this space with you. I just love the way that we work together, and it's this, I don't know, like let's do it again and again and again.
Yes.
Private, whatever. Like you just hold such a gorgeous container, and your people that came through. Thank you so much for trusting me with your energy and for being as vulnerable as you've been. This was like the best way to spend my Sunday night. So thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. It was so amazing to see you all here. I love you all. Like, you guys are a part of my tribe, and I'm just so grateful every time that I show up and to see your comments and to feel your love. You guys inspire me to do this work, and I just love you all. So thank you. And thank you so much, Samantha. This has been awesome. All right, everyone. We're going to try to plan this sometime again. Until then, loving you all.
Peace and love. Bye.